Welcome to the Feminine Truth Podcast with Miranda, a place where you can reconnect with your wild, cyclical, and fierce truth. I am Miranda, a mentor, guide, healer, and intuitive coach. I guide women on a journey of remembrance, reconnection, and embodiment of their inner feminine truth. Join me each week to tap into raw, unedited, and unfiltered sacred conversations to help women tap into their inner feminine truth to become bold, unshakable, and apologetic in who they truly are. Let's jump into today's sacred conversation. Welcome to the Feminine Truth Podcast with your host, Mary Miranda. Today, we're going to be talking about decentering men while you're choosing to be single and not dating. This episode specifically for the women who are in a season or era of healing, choosing consciously to be single, so single by choice, and detoxing from dating burnout or just dating in general, so not active dating whatsoever, and deleting all dating apps, and also just women that truly just want to reconnect with themselves and create a completely, deeply and intimate relationship with themselves, because maybe they've never done that. They've never given themselves the space to really nurture their relationship with themselves. So they're in their season too, or maybe you're switching careers, or maybe you're focusing on some areas of your life that you don't really have the time, energy, and effort and investment for dating and to put yourself out there, which is totally fine. And this by no means it's intended for you to soar off dating, or in the future getting married and all those things. No, but it's just that in this season right now, you are choosing to just be single and decenter men. And many of us have been conditioned, groomed, indoctrinated, programmed, however you want to say it, to center men and their needs and so many things. And I just want to make this episode because when I was doing my healing journey, which I'm continuously doing, but specifically about choosing to be single the last 6 months and not dating and decentering men, I found that I was still centering men even though I was not dating. So it's like a lot of subconscious programming that it's been ingrained in many of us. So I kind of just wanted to bring it up to light because so many women are going to resonate with this. And I've been watching a lot of posts about this. So I just wanted to do an episode and kind of see if anyone connects with any of the things I'm going to talk about. So, for example, have you been dating and jumping from relationship to relationship and just like not taking a break and centering your life around finding the one, finding a person, a relationship, and just actively dating without taking a break? And is relationships and dating your main personality traits? So do you fantasize and future dream and romanticize very early on about having a relationship and meeting your person and the one without actually having that person in your life or dating? And this is one of those things, like, for example, when you go to the store, when you go to the mall, when you go to the airport or the coffee shop, do you have those thoughts of, I'm gonna get ready and I'm gonna look my best because I might meet my dream person or someone might fall in love with me, like, those kind of love at first sight kind of vibes, and like you see in the movies that you meet at an airport or coffee shop, and oh my God, he's gonna fall madly in love with me, or we're gonna get married and he's gonna be the one. Do you ever go places where the way you get ready, the way you look, it's so important because you might meet the one and your person? Especially if you're not even on dating apps or anything, but that's still in the back of your head. That is a way that we are still centering men, believe it or not. And in what ways are you centering men? And here are some subtle ways that we center men that I want you to let me know if this resonates with you. Are you doing everything for the male attention, the male gaze? Does it feel very performative when you do things? For example, your appearance, the way you look, the way you do your makeup, the way you do your hair, your body, your size, your weight, your breast, your butt size. Like, are you heavily emphasized in having a big butt and big boobs and hips and curvy? Or are you doing everything because of the male gaze? Kind of like it feels like you are doing everything so you feel more attractive to attract a man versus doing it for your own gaze, for you to love the way you, for example, the way you look in the mirror. If you don't like what you see, but you want to change something for you because of you, or are you doing it in hopes to attract a man that is going to like you physically because of how you look? Are you dressing for yourself, for your liking, for your comfort, for your own desires, to feel attractive for you or for a man? Are you putting makeup on for you? So when you look in the mirror, you like what you see, or are you doing it for a man? And this goes the same way. Are you worried that if they see you naturally, they're not going to like you? Or are you comfortable being natural because you truly love your natural beauty? Or do you need to put makeup on because we have been so conditioned for beauty standards because of the male gaze? I don't know if that makes sense. But when you look in the mirror, are you happy with the reflection that you see? Are you happy with the way you look, with your body, with your size, with your curves, with your stretch marks, with your cellulite, with everything that you see? Or are you dieting? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to work out to look a certain way? Are you trying to dress a certain way that it's not you, just for the male gaze? Or are you truly doing it for your own gaze? Hair is the same thing. Are you getting hair extensions or this elaborate, beautiful hairstyles for you or for the male gaze? Like, what are you doing for the male gaze versus what are you doing for you? If you're doing it for you, that's amazing. A lot of us haven't. A lot of us are not even aware of this subtle things. For example, one way that I realized I was still doing things very performative, it was the way I was working out, why I wanted to work out, why I wanted to build a big butt, why I wanted to look a certain way when it comes to my body, because I wanted to look attractive for a man. And I have been conditioned to believe that the bigger the butt and the curves, the better, because I'm Latina and because I've been made fun of by exes because my butt wasn't big. Apparently, according to them, it was not good enough. So then I internalized that my body was never good enough. Like, nothing that I did was ever good enough until I started dropping and distancing myself from how I was doing things. And I started approaching things from a different angle because I was exhausted. My body was burnt out. I started working out because I enjoy working out. I love working out and taking care of my body. I love the way I eat for me because it gives me energy. I work out from a place of love. And some days when I'm hard on myself, I just take a step back. I decrease the amount of time I work out. I don't go as hard as I used to. I don't train like a bodybuilder like I used to. It is changing, and now I'm integrating more like Pilates, more yoga, more like softer exercises, which before I was like, oh my god, I can't do that, like I need to go hardcore. I have softened those ways because now I am okay with my body size. I am okay with where I'm at, and I'm still learning to love my body as it is because I also recover from an eating disorder. So it has a lot to do with this centering men and the male gaze that I was not aware of. And I hate being objectified and being sexualized. And all of that, the stares, the way, the cat calling. I grew up in that culture, so that's still very ingrained in me that I still find ways that I cover up for because I it makes me so uncomfortable and not feel safe when men objectify me. So I'm still right now, literally, I'm still working on that. So I'll probably do a different podcast on that. So the next thing I want to talk about is, are you compromising your values, your integrity, your standards, your desires? Are you breaking any of your deal breakers, your non negotiables, your red flags just for a man? Have you been doing that in the past? So that's another way. Are you censoring yourself? Are you dimming your light? Are you staying quiet? Are you not speaking your truth and your voice because you have been conditioned to not say anything, to not ruffle the feathers, to not talk back to men, to not disrespect men, and kind of like dim your light and your voice because you don't want to be too loud, you don't want to be too much. And this goes also hand in hand with, are you the good girl people, kind of like from the people pleaser side, or are you in your truth? Who are you being authentic or not? Are you hiding parts of you because you are afraid of being too much, too loud, too sensitive, too emotional, too opinionated, or too much of everything because you have been criticized, judged, and not accepted? That's another way. And in what ways can you start showing up for yourself, being seen, not staying quiet, speaking up, using your voice, setting boundaries is one way that we have to start doing that. The next thing I want to talk about how we center men is our relationships, especially female friendship relationships, and also those relationships with your family. Are you changing your plans and dropping everything when a man texts and when a man call or when a man asks to see you last minute but you already have plans with your friends? This is a way that we center men because we are choosing men over our friends, especially if those friends have been there with you through thick and thin, or you've had valuable friendships and you value those friends. Like, it is not okay to cancel on your friends and your family for men. And when we talk to our friends, is it just about men, our dating disasters, our situationships, what they did? Do we overanalyze their texts and go into what they did, how they said it, their energy, and try to evaluate everything? And is it more like a venting and complaining and like gossiping? And what will happen if you remove the venting, the complaining, and like it feels like a little gossipy energy from that relationship? Will you still have a true friendship with that person? If not, then this is probably one of those friendships or relationships that you need to reevaluate. And if this is more like a one-sided type of friendship or relationship, basically what I'm trying to say is it mainly you, the one complaining, venting, always going through this dating disaster, situationships, and you're always reaching out to your friends to let them know what's going on and sending them screenshots of what they said, how they said it, what do you think it meant, how come they haven't texted, what do you think it means? Or is it them doing that? Because in that case, it is a one-sided relationship. If they're not asking or you are not mutually asking each other how your life is outside of these relationships, and you don't know your goals, your values, what you guys stand for, and all of that, then is there really a friendship? And this is one of those things that sometimes we need to reevaluate our relationships and our friendships, set boundaries, or apologize to that person for either talking so much or choosing dating and men over them. And you just have to genuinely apologize to them, or either set some boundaries. For example, if somebody wants to complain or vent or ask you if you can give your input about something that they're going through in a relationship, You need to set the boundary and be like, hey, can you please ask me if I'm energetically open and available to hold space for you? Or you have to do the same thing for them. Hey, I was wondering if you have the energetic capacity, time, effort to help me understand something because I'm not seeing things well, or I need advice. Or you can simply ask for what you need. I need just to vent, and that person will just hold space for you without saying anything back. I feel that we also have to be very considerate and conscious of the time, effort, and energy that it takes to complain, to vent, and to gossip about relationships. And if you have been on this end, that when you are going through dating apps and dating and all of that, it's a lot. We go through a lot because of how dating is nowadays. So, are we only focusing on what's going on within the dating space and men when we get together with our friends? Or do we genuinely talk about something else besides relationships and dating? Are we talking, do you know about their family? Do you know how what they're going through, how they feel, their goals, their values, their vision for life? Do you guys know about each other truly, or is it just venting and gossiping? Because a lot of times I feel like we get dopamine hits from gossiping, and this is where a lot of those people that talk behind your back to each other, or those women that gossip too much, it's the dopamine hit. It's that roller coaster of emotions that they're looking for, because having a relationship that is healthy sometimes feel more like on the boring side. So if you don't have this type of chaos energy and the dopamine and the hits from talking about men and the ups and downs and the situationships and the dating, so there's not this kind of a roller coaster of emotions and chaos that your relationship and your nervous system is probably used to. So when you remove that, a lot of times friendships and relationships are calm, and they're not boring. They're just calm. They're normal. They are not this ups and downs. Because if you have those types of friendships, you might want to reevaluate what's going on. And you don't cancel plans with your friends for a man, especially one that plans last minute. If you already have plans with the people that you love and you truly value, you're not going to do that. And I have been guilty of this in the past, and I regret it so bad that I will never ever put a man that I barely know or anyone through a dating app in front of my family, my niece, and any friend that I truly value, because it's just not worth it. Because what's going to happen when that ends, if it doesn't work out, then your friends are going to feel forgotten. They're going to feel hurt because you chose somebody else over them, you know? So we also kind of have to keep this in mind. So in order to have these relationships, a lot of times we need to reevaluate the core of our friendships and what we talk about, and kind of remove, like for example, when we are decentering men and choosing to be single and not actively dating, we need to find things to bond with our friends and our family, that it's not about dating and relationships. And maybe one day you are going to find someone that progressively is going to be a right fit for you, and that person can come into your life. And this by no means, this is just right now because you are going through this process of decentering men. But maybe one day that person is going to be important in your life. So priorities will have to shift. But I will do a separate podcast on decentering men while dating and relationships and even marriage, because that is a whole other thing too. The next thing I want to talk about is, in what ways are you waiting for the validation and approval of a man? Are you trying to prove anything to a man that you are, for example, worthy, the one, that you are valuable, and everything that you don't feel that you are? Do you keep, and this is one way, do you keep holding on to someone from your past coming back on the back of your head in the subconscious? You're not aware of it, that you keep wishing that person would come back. And this is one way that I feel like we center men is by manifesting an SB, a specific person. And when people say this, they refer to an ex, they refer to someone from their past. And that guy, let me tell you, that guy that is viewing your story from your past, that is giving it a like, that is reacting, that does not mean anything. Are you waiting on someone to see how valuable, how worthy, how enough you are? And this is one of those things that you can use this to heal. You can use literally the way you are feeling without the male validation, the male gaze and approval, to know exactly what kind of core wounds you need to heal. So, for example, when you are decentering men, and before you felt unlovable, you felt unworthy, you felt not enough, you felt like nothing that you did was good enough, like nothing was ever good enough. And you have all this kind of, it feels like unmet needs. This is one way that you can become aware of exactly what you need to do to start healing. And this is an incredible piece of information and awareness on your healing journey, especially when you are doing this decentering men and detoxing and just focusing on yourself. And it's like medicine for you to heal. And are you waiting for a man to save you? Kind of like the provider, the protector energy. And this is one way that I have come to realize that men are truly not providers and protectors. I feel like those qualities, yes, although they feel like very masculine energy qualities, I feel like those qualities are so embodied by the mother energy and by the warrior energy, which we can totally tap into those if we start doing the work to heal our inner masculine. Because a lot of times when we are looking for a provider protector is because we don't feel safe and we're waiting for someone to save us, kind of like a damsel in distress type of scenario. So when you start healing your inner masculine and you start providing yourself with that safety, you start providing yourself with kind of like that protector energy, that safety net, that I got your back no matter what, we're gonna move through this, and kind of like that warrior, that inner mother energy, you are going to be healing so much that you are not really going to be needing a man to make you feel safe, because you are providing that for yourself. And maybe one day you are definitely going to attract someone that does provide all those qualities within you. But once you start doing it for yourself, it hits differently because it helps you heal like your inner child. And yes, one day you will meet a man that's gonna embody all those qualities, but have you truly ever felt safe with a man? Have you truly ever felt protected with a man? Provided for in more ways than just a financial provider. Like genuinely felt safe, protected, and provided for with love. Not someone using it against you, not someone making you feel bad and guilty and shameful for it. Please tell me, because I have not. I have never felt safe, provided, and protected from a man with true love, unconditional love. Never. It's okay if we have never experienced this, because we sometimes have to become our own saviors in this process and choose ourselves. And this is what this whole journey of decentering men and being single by choice and not dating is doing for us, because we are actively choosing ourselves and saving ourselves and just learning to be happy with who we are. And some of the things that you can start doing to center yourself is self-care practices and rituals to take care of you, to show yourself, your body, your mind, and your heart that you choose you, that you're putting yourself in a pedestal, that you are centering yourself. It's a lot of what can you do for self-care? Do you need to start walking? Do you want to start working out for you, not for the male gaze? Remember, we're doing all of this for our own gaze, for our own approval and our own validation. What self care practices are you going to do to start feeling safe in your body, to start loving and liking what you see in the mirror? I started, like I said, working out from a place of self love. I don't go intense. I lost muscle, I lost booty, I lost so many things, and I'm actually happy with the way my body looks. I do have cellulite, which is something that I've always been self conscious about, but we're working at that. We're doing dry brushing every day, and we're doing other things because I also have some conditions where estrogen can be very dominant in me and cortisol. So I am doing all of that for me, not for anyone else, but for me. So my needs are my priority. Your needs are your priority. And you need to put yourself in the center and in the pedestal. And when you start doing this, you are going to learn that through doing this, you're going to start embodying true self love. You are going to start feeling safer in your body because you're reconnecting with your body, with your truth, with your essence. You are going to just feel more authentic and more in your truth and in who you are when you start prioritizing yourself. So, when you start thinking about self care practices and rituals like meditation, any type of supplements or anything that you take or anything that you do to show yourself that you love yourself, like even putting on lotion, perfume, the way you dress, do it for your own gaze. For your own gaze, not for the male gaze. That's very important to emphasize that. And this is, like I said, another way not only to love yourself, but to start feeling whole and complete. And another thing that this is going to help you do and achieve and heal, it's your inner child. It's heal any unmet needs that you have, because once you know kind of like in what ways you are waiting for the male validation, approval, or male gaze, you're going to start uncovering any core wounds that you have, any unmet needs. And that in turn is going to help you heal your inner child. That's very powerful. And another thing that you can start doing is pick new skills, a hobby, focus on your goals, on your future, on your vision. A lot of people love starting manifestation, but this is coming just for your own, on your own, centering yourself and not having a man and relationship in mind. You are doing all of this for you. And the most important thing is finding what ways are you centering men that I didn't mention here. And if I mention here and anything resonated with you, you can journal more about it. I don't have specific journaling questions. A lot of it I said in throughout the episode, like, are you censoring yourself? Are you dimming your light? Are you staying quiet? And why? Do you have the good girl, people pleaser archetype? And this is another reason why you're censoring yourself, because you have been conditioned to stay quiet, because you are afraid to being too much, too loud, too sensitive, too emotional, too opinionated. And who made you feel that way? This is another way that we have been so ingrained and conditioned to be small, because men have been conditioning us that they are the superior to women, and it's not true. So let me know if any of this resonated with you. This is more to bring awareness, because this is things that I never really thought about it until I started really diving deep. And I've been in periods of celibacy, been single, not dating, but I have never truly taken the time and the effort to really decenter men and really being aware in what ways I was centering men without me being aware of. So this list really, really helped me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I am still doing things in hopes to get a validation and approval, even though I felt like I was not doing it for that. There was this subconscious belief that I don't know how to explain it, but this brings a lot of awareness, because once I was aware of that, I shifted my focus and my energy and my outlook is so much different now. If any of this resonated with you, please let me know. Share it with anyone that this episode can be helped with. Thank you so much for following the podcast, subscribing, and leaving any reviews. And if you haven't, please leave a review. It would mean so much if you share this with anyone that can be helped by this episode or share it in social media. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation on the Feminine Truth Podcast. This podcast is for you, for me, for us, for the Feminine Collective. Thank you for spending your time and energy with us. I so appreciate it. Please, it would mean so much if you could share this in your Instagram stories, in your Facebook stories, or everywhere, so this message gets spread and others can find this podcast and this conversation. And if you feel like someone needs to hear this message, please share with them. I would be so grateful for you, and let us know your thoughts, how this has helped you, how you connected with this topic, or how this has felt in your body. And lastly, if you feel the pull, I would be immensely grateful if you could take the time to leave a review so more people can find my podcast and this conversation. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next episode.